Good afternoon, guys, and happy Saturday to all of your sunshiny faces. Guys, we went to the volleyball tournament today, which I was very happy about, and they did well. I'll let you guys know all about that in just a minute. But first, let me include the volleyball footage for you guys from earlier today. So today was just an absolutely crazy day. I told you guys yesterday how the puppy we are fostering right now ended up not feeling well, and he was sick and everything, and so we took him back to the shelter to have the vet that was there ran some tests. They said that he doesn't look like he has any infection or anything like that. Maybe it was just stress, maybe he just ate something bad. He ate perfectly fine in the shelter and didn't puke or have diarrhea all over the place, because he had for the last over 24 hours, I think. And so he was totally fine, and he came back home, and he came home with all this energy, and he looked actually a little bit more meaty. He looked really skinny yesterday. And he was drinking water, and he's been totally fine today, which is awesome. So yeah, we have no clue what on earth was going on. Maybe he just had an upset stomach. We really have no clue. But he was fine today. Once he ended up getting back, he spent some time at the shelter. But my mom took him there this morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. Matthew's volleyball game started at 8:30, or his volleyball tournament. And we ended up, it took us over, I think an hour and a half or something like that to get there. We got there at 12 o'clock, and we get out the car, and we've been driving. This is okay, so we're more south, kind of southwest of Chicago. We had to go northeast of Chicago, past Chicago. And yeah, guys, it was super far drive. It was, like I said, close to an hour and a half. But the thing was, we ended up playing really good competition, and competition that we could honestly beat, guys. The only problem is, here's what ended up happening. Well, okay, so we get there, right, and it's 12 o'clock, and I was like, oh, we made good time. So we ended up getting there, and we see one of the dads is out in the, out sitting out front. We see all these kids too, and it looked like they were having lunch or something like that. And I was thinking, okay, so they played 3 games, and Matthew had let us know that they'd finished. My dad told us the score too. They had won 2 sets in the first and lost 1 of them in their first game that they ended up playing. And then the second game they ended up losing to a town that's from around here. They also ended up going. So I don't know why. And they were the team that hosted a tournament, the second tournament that we went to this year. We ended up beating them. So you'd expect us to beat them then. We were the ones that actually ended up kicking them out of even placing at their own tournament, because we beat them. So I would have hoped that we would have beat them, but we ended up losing. And I don't know if we lost 2 sets or and won 1, or if we lost just 2 sets, or if we, like I said, we took them to 3 sets or not. Then they ended up winning the 3rd set. So then we get there, and they're finishing up eating and stuff like that. Well, we get out of the car, and we see the one dad that's there, and he's always making jokes and stuff like that. And he's like, you guys missed it. One of the teams ended up canceling, and they just finished their last game right now. And we were like, oh my gosh, you have to be kidding me. My mom literally is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we drove all the way out here and we're gonna miss, we missed the whole thing. He said it with completely straight face, and we were like, no, oh my gosh, did we just spend an hour in the car driving all the way here? And we were hoping, like I said, we were at least gonna be able to see 2 of them, and we were hoping too that we had heard they were doing well so far in the tournament, and we just, all of us, freaked out. And he was like I said it with a completely straight face, and then all of a sudden he goes, I'm just kidding, they're playing right now. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never been so stunned by someone not making a joke about that and completely believing them. He was so, he had us all fooled. Honestly, that we were like, oh my gosh, are you serious? And then we were like, oh my gosh, okay. So we got there then. We ended up watching them play their the one team, which in the gym was so small that it was just so packed in. We had tiny little bit of seats that were there, and we ended up having to sit with the other. It was so cramped, guys. Honestly, this is one of the reasons why I don't understand why our school doesn't host a tournament, because we've got a field house and we have 2 gyms. So we could easily fit a lot of teams at our school, which is why, again, I don't know why we don't host a tournament, because we'd make lots of money off concession stands and lots of money off of, we get charged to go to these tournaments and stuff like that, and so we can charge people to come to our tournament. So I don't know why we do, because like I said, we went to these last two tournaments, or like two of the tournaments, and like they're very like uncomfortable to sit at, and like I just don't understand why we don't, because we have the space and the capacity to do it, and our school doesn't ever host tournaments. So yeah, but like if this school that literally they had two gyms. They had their big main gym, and then they had another small gym, which was probably about the size of our small gym also, and they ended up playing 2 games in there, which was, like I said, really like chaotic and just... Yeah, so it was super packed, like in this tiny little gym that we're trying to sit at. These tiny little 3 sets of bleachers that like only went a fourth of a court size. Like, it was ridiculous. So yeah, the footage of the first game wasn't really the greatest because of that. They ended up winning the first set. I don't remember what the final score was, but then the second set was actually like really close, and the cap, I guess, was 27. We got to 27 first after we had 3 serves in the net, and 1 I think went out that could have won us the game, but just not even getting the ball in play, and we almost ended up losing it. So then we ended up playing the team that was hosting the tournament, and we figured that we could have wound up in a 3-way tie, which for first place, if we would have beat this team. We ended up beating them in the first set. In the second set, our kids just looked dead. I think we got like kind of blown out of the game, like by 10 points or something like that. And then the third set, we ended up coming back. The kids got all hyped up, and we ended up beating the team that ended up winning for, like, that was hosting the tournament. So, which was awesome. We ended up in a 3-way tie between us, the team from our, like, literally our neighboring town that ended up going all the way out to this tournament with us, that we beat before but beat us, and then also the team that was hosting the tournament. Because of the 3-way tie, it came down to sets and who lost the most sets. We ended up losing more sets than the team that hosted the tournament, so they got first place and we got second, guys. Which really stinks, because although we beat them head to head, they ended up having a 3-way tie, which, like I said, they ended up beating the team from our neighboring town, and then we ended up losing to them. And so it was a 3-way tie, and they ended up losing less sets because we lost 1 set to them. If we would have beat them just in a clean 2 sets instead of taking it to 3, we would have ended up winning overall, which really stinks, guys. And I wish I could have said, like, Matthew's team at least won 1 tournament, because I've never been able to say that I can remember. I don't think in 8th grade, like I said, 7th grade, I think they won 1, but I wasn't really even involved in, like, watching Matthew's volleyball back then. In 8th grade, I don't remember them ever winning first place. They got second 1 year, which was, like, really cool, because it was really, like, elite, like, competition and really elite, what's it called, like, a tournament. And his freshman year, I don't remember them ever winning. And his, like, JV, both years he played JV, I don't either. And so this year, like, they could have, like I said, all they needed to do was just not take it to those 3 sets, and they did. And so it can either be looked at as a tie for first place, or, they ended up getting second place, which still is really good, which is out of 6 teams. But, it came down to just that. And Matthew said, though, if they wouldn't have lost the set in the first game that they ended up playing, where they still won, but they ended up doing, again, it was 3, they won best of 3, and they played 3, so they lost 1 of them. That's what it ended up coming down to, was their, they ended up losing that, that set. They would have won either of those 2 and just would have not lost 1, they would have gotten first place. So it's really tough, but I am really happy that we were able to see it, because, like I said, they did really well in the 2 games that we were able to see. And Matthew said, too, the game right before we got there, they ended up beating some team, I think 25-2 or something like that. It was like a complete beatdown, and he did say that they ended up having one of our kids served it into the net. So that was actually why they really only, I guess, technically earned 1 point against us, which is like, Matthew said they played them, I think, in like either 7th grade. yeah, in 7th grade, they ended up playing this team, and they only gave up 1 point to them. So it would have been their middle school coming up. So since our middle school played their middle school, that was the same group of kids. And so one of the kids from our team used to actually go to that middle school, like way back in the day, and ended up coming over to the middle school then in 8th grade. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So yeah, but today was overall pretty good day volleyball wise, but it's so sad because it's Matthew's last tournament, and I didn't realize, guys, too, but I'm gonna like cry. Tuesday is his last home game, and then they end up having 2 more games after that. They're both away, and then they end up playing. They do make the championship. What is that called? The playoffs. I can't even think right now. So, yeah, but I don't know where it's hosted. I don't think that we have them hosted at home. I think most of them are away and stuff like that. And I don't know if they do it based on just, like, open court or what it is and stuff, or if it's actually, like, record-wise or whatnot. So, I honestly, I'm not sure, but, yeah, so tomorrow's or Tuesday's the last home game, which is so sad. So, yeah, and this was the last tournament, the last volleyball tournament Matthew's ever gonna play in, which is super sad too. So, oh, guys, I feel like it's finally warm out, and like this is like volleyball weather for me. Like this is what I remember volleyball being like, and it's already like the end of the season because we've had such a long winter too. So we came home from the volleyball game and we ended up watching Doctor Strange. And so we're almost done with our Marvel movies, guys. And I made my grocery list. We're going to go to the grocery stores tomorrow. My mom's going to go with me to Aldi, and my dad's going to take me to Walmart tomorrow. So anyways, though, guys, yeah, Scooter's back with us, though. He's doing good, so that's good. And the puppies are also, our puppies are doing well as well. Aren't you guys? Yeah, they're tuckered out because they've been entertaining him today. So, I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So, bye, guys.